To watch
Speaking
The
of racism,
Boys.
have you watched New Superhero Show? Anyway, welcome back everyone to another episode of the Boys official podcast sponsored by
Yeah,
Amazon.
I wish. I wish we were sponsored by Amazon.
God, can you imagine having that blood money?
So let's do the intro and three,
Wait,
two,
that was my
one.
intro.
Really? No, that was not an intro. That
Fine.
sucked for an intro.
Welcome back to the final podcast. Roberto doesn't like my intros anymore.
Well, what are you talking about? You said it was like the
Yeah, the
boys.
official we're rebranding. We're the official Boys podcast now. We're sponsored by Amazon. It's official. Let's go. We only talk
I
about
don't.
the boys now. That's all we
I
talk
mean,
about.
I don't like the show enough to just talk about the boys. It's a good show. It's good. It's really intense. It's got really great characters. But I'm not gonna do a podcast dedicated to the boys. There's a lot of other franchises I would rather talk about. But in this episode, what will we be talking about, Nick? Do you
Well,
remember?
I remember. I have your text that you sent me earlier right here, right in front of me, because I don't remember things as good anymore.
Yeah.
We got to go see Tenet in movie theaters, which is probably the dumbest COVID safety thing that you can possibly do right now, but we still did it
We still did it.
because
We
art
did it.
demands it.
Yeah, and
I
I
even bought food when we were there.
yeah, me too. I know. We're crazy. Well, we knew it. We knew it was gonna be like that. We knew that it was gonna be probably the only time that we were gonna be able to go to the theater for a long time,
Before
maybe.
everything closes back again.
Yeah, I knew that you could see it was written in the freaking sky that there was going to be a second wave
Of
and a
course.
second closing and everything. So in Montreal, everything's closed down. It's a red zone, so no more restaurants, no more theaters, no more fun stuff. So
No more
just I guess
gyms. I
just
know we're
more
both
in
devastated.
you know just
I
more indoor drinking.
I know that we're both devastated about gyms closing. We haven't been the same since they
Yeah, I
announced
can't.
it.
I
Heartbreaking,
know. I'm
really.
depressed. I can't
I
go
don't know what
walk
I'm going to
around the
do without
gym.
my gains.
Yeah, I need my 2 hours of walking around a space filled with mirrors where I can look at myself.
Yeah,
I
four
need it.
liters of protein just doesn't do the same thing for me
I
anymore,
know.
you know?
I'm sad.
Heartbreaking.
Yeah, so we got to see Tenet, so
Movie
we could
theaters
talk
in
about
times of
that.
COVID are weird. It's
Well,
weird to have like space around you with people not sitting next to you. It's so
well,
odd.
I don't go to the theater that much anymore. I mean, the last time I went to see a movie and it was kind of jam packed was probably when we went to see The Quiet
Joker?
Place. No, Joker.
Joker
Yeah,
was
Joker. There's
packed.
a lot of yeah, it was packed. That's true. It's packed. Me memory not good.
Oh,
But
yeah.
yeah, Joker was packed. Yeah, Joker was packed. But yeah, it was kind of strange. Tenet was, was like third full because of course there's like two seats in between every other two seats because it's
It was
only you
three,
can only
wasn't
buy
it?
three or two or three, which is yeah, whatever. It's a lot. There's a lot of space in
Six
between, and you
feet's
can
worth of seat, yeah.
yeah. So it's a lot. So it's like there's not that many people, and yeah, but once the film starts, I don't really give a crap. It's just you watch the screen, you don't really notice the whole fact that it's empty. But I'm not. I don't want to talk about the movie experience itself. I want to talk about the movie. And I wanted to. I know that you have thoughts, and I have thoughts, and I think first and foremost have to say that I enjoyed the movie. It
Same.
was fun. It was
Yeah,
fun.
it's an
It's a
enjoyable
good.
movie.
But it's in terms of Christopher Nolan movies, it's probably his. Hmm, I don't know if I'm not sure if I find it complicated because of the whole timeline thing, but it's probably his simplest movie in a sense where there's just like there's not a million different characters and there's not it just feels it's a bit more intimate and more precise, like it's more centered on one character that's like going through this whole whatever the whole
In a
story.
weird way, it's the most straightforward of his films
Yeah,
because there's no, and unless I completely missed them, there's no deeper themes or hidden
yeah,
meaning or
exactly.
like hidden value. The movie is what it says it's about, and that's kind of it, which
and it's
is
got the worst ever
fine.
and it's got the worst ever, I think, exposition I've seen in any of his movies. Like
It's
the
pretty
first 20
aggressive, but there's
minutes
a lot of stuff to expose.
yeah, but the first 20 minutes are completely there's just like a like a sort of like, I don't know how to say it, like a mix of different events. You know, it's very cause and effect, but it's so fast that you don't have time to process what just happened. It's more like, okay, well, he's in there's an opera house. Okay, there's terrorists. Okay, well, well, you know, spoiler, whatever, dies or doesn't really die, and then, okay, he gets like recruited to be in this Tenet thing, and then he meets this one character who is a scientist, I guess, and she explains what the whole time reversal thing is, and then it's just like it propulses you into, it's like he's like, you know what, we just do 20 minutes of exposition and then jump right into it,
It
you
does the
know.
same thing that like Suicide Squad or Rogue One does, where like the first 25 minutes are just 45 locations,
Yeah,
tiny scenes with a bunch of new characters, and they're like, okay, here's story, here's what we're going to talk about, and once that's done, it's okay, we actually get into the meat of things. It does the exact same structural
yeah,
thing.
yeah, which is, I mean, which is fine, because I mean, it's an action movie. I'm not expecting, you don't always have to have these super complicated stories. So in a sense, I didn't really mind it. It's just I was very lost, which is not, to me, good exposition. Exposition is meant to actually prepare you for the story and help you not get lost. But I was just wondering, like, where are we going with all this? Like, it's too fast. And I guess that it's a movie that's made to be watched, I think, twice. I think that's really the best
I
way to watch
definitely
the
would
movie,
want to
is to watch
rewatch
it
it.
again.
Yeah,
Yeah, because you notice
but
things that you
backwards.
missed. Yeah, let's watch it backwards. Yeah, yeah,
If
or
you
in
if you
reverse.
listen
Yeah.
if you watch Tenet backwards, you can hear John Lennon praise Satan.
Well, I don't even know what to say with that.
That's
Um,
an old person joke.
yeah. What's the record? But you didn't even say record. But
You yeah,
fuck, I
you went to
forget it.
record because you're an old
Um,
person.
yes,
I
yes,
will
me old.
not to jump around too much, but the one scene, like I feel like I had a good grasp of the whole time reversal backwards forwards thing. I feel like I understood
Yeah.
that and that I got how it worked. The one scene that I did not get was the backwards car chase. I'm still thinking about it, trying to understand what happened during that scene. But that I think is it was poor editing. Some of the editing, especially the sound mix. Can we talk about the sound mix? I did
Oh
not
yeah, we could
hear
talk about the sound
two-thirds
mix.
of the dialogue of this movie. I was just
Well,
reading
that's one of the
lips.
biggest yeah, that is the biggest like critique of the whole movie, is you can't, it's like you're hearing mumbling. It's like, it's almost like okay, I watched quick parentheses. I watched A Star Is Born, and before you judge me, it's a good movie.
I'm sure.
It's a really good movie. It's
I'm
like, it surprised me, right? And Bradley Cooper is amazing in that movie, and he plays this man, raging alcoholic who, you know, is just I guess a shell of what he used to be, and he just drinks and drinks and drinks, and he has a hearing problem, so he mumbles. He's just like, and I kid you not, this is like Bradley Cooper saying like, "Hey, do you want to like come backstage?" He's like, "Hey, you want to come backstage?" That's basically his lines, right? And that was basically Tenet. It was like that, not mumbling, but just like talking fast or not loud enough, mixed with like, you know,
there's
the whole
always some background noise. There's
liver,
always a
yeah,
jet engine or a waterfall or
or
a
the
train
brrr,
or an entire
brrr.
circus or yeah, or
Yeah,
the it's always
yeah,
something in the background constantly.
yeah, yeah, and the
Incomprehensible.
sound is horrible. Yeah, and
And the same thing that happens in every almost every Nolan movie where the characters are all just very cold, no personality, kind of like protagonists. They're really just protagonists
well, I've always felt that Nolan doesn't treat characters, to
as
him they're,
characters.
yeah, to him they're almost just like, they're a means to tell a story, like a prop,
Yeah, they're
you know.
drivers. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's never, even though his characters always have motivation, it's not that they don't have motivation. The way that he directs his actors, it's more, you know, it's very you go here, you do this, you do that, and it'll drive it forward, like you said, but you don't get attached to them. Like, I mean, Inception is so good, and it's a great movie. You know, it's a great action movie. It's complicated. It's a heist movie. But and it's like, you know, they're great emotional scenes. And Leonardo DiCaprio was a great actor. Never do I ever feel anything. Like, I have kids, And the idea that what's driving him is he wants to see his kids again. I never felt
First,
anything.
because you never see his kids and you never
You never,
know
yeah,
what the
there's, yeah,
relationship is. It's very surface level. Like, oh, this man wants to see kids. This man wants to save world. This man wants to be main character.
yeah. I feel like Nolan's like, yeah, that's how humans react. This must be how
It's because in
motivates
Nolan in
people.
Nolan's mind, he's like, I want to make movies. This is the
Yeah,
only thing I want. Everybody must be like me. Have only one
yeah,
objective.
yeah. And there's always a Nolan character. There's always like a surrogate Nolan. So
Yeah,
in this movie, it's definitely Robert Pattinson. You know, he's in a sense that he always has a character that dresses and looks like him. Like in
that's true.
Inception, it's Leonardo DiCaprio. In Tenet, it's I think the only movie that probably doesn't have a Nolan-ish character is probably like, you know, Interstellar. But he always has a character that's like him in recent movies.
I guess
Not always, but there's a
I still
lot.
prefer that to directors making cameos in all the movies like Shyamalan. I still prefer
Oh God, yeah.
having a fake stand-in rather than they themselves being in there.
I
Although
mean, well,
R. Pats was like the only really actually likable character, right?
I think
Do we agree
I
on
think
that? He
God,
was
he's such a great. Well, actually, no.
so good.
The main actor who I found out is Denzel Washington's son.
Oh,
Yeah,
huh.
he was really good.
He
He was
was
really
very
good.
good,
He
but
had
I
a
didn't feel attached to his character.
no.
Like I
He's
enjoyed
very
watching him. He played well, but I wasn't attached. I actually was attached to R. Pats' character.
there's no warmth to him, to the main character, to
Yeah,
to
the
the
protagonist.
protagonist.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's again, he's more like a vessel, you know.
yeah,
So it's fine. I mean, even if he's funny, he has really good one-liners.
yeah. The
You
scene
kind of
where he presents to R. Pats' character the whole time reversal thing for the
yeah
first time. That
yeah.
conversation is so goddamn funny.
Oh yeah, no,
That
it's
is such a
fantastic.
funny
Yeah,
part of the movie.
yeah. I mean, Pattinson is just poor guy
It
who
made me more excited for Batman, and now we
his
have to wait
whole
2 years.
yeah. That's one of the subjects we can talk right after this. Um, I you know I've I think I feel bad for him sometimes because Pattinson will forever in my mind, not anymore, but for a long time, he needed to prove to me that he wasn't just Twilight Boy. Same thing for Kristen Stewart. I think that she's a great actress. She's wonderful. But every time I see her, I'm like, Twilight. I feel bad. It's kind of like, you know, Frodo or Harry Potter.
Nice.
Damn it. You know who I'm talking about? We're
Elijah
talking
Wood and Daniel
Elijah Wood, Daniel
Radcliffe.
Radcliffe. Radcliffe. There you go. I was gonna. It was coming. It was gonna. It's coming. It was coming.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. I was sure someone there.
I mean, all
Twilight, though, was a funny example because that's just a very good cast trapped in a very weird franchise, and they
oh
all
yeah.
kind of, you can tell that they all kind of just did it and just never want to think about it again.
Well, they didn't. I am convinced they didn't think it was going to be that big. They personally, the studio knew that they had something big, like a project that could reach, you know, millions and billions. And I'm thinking Pattinson was like, well, hey, I'm going to make some money. I'm going to go do some movies and whatever. Nobody's going to see this. And then
In his
it
defense, though,
exploded.
he could have done it like really apathetic and not caring and like barely invested. But he played Edward, like he went full into the weird deep
Yeah.
end.
You know,
He
he's awesome.
committed, which is impressive. I can't do that.
Nope. Nope. I can barely commit to life. Um,
And on that note, Tenet's a good movie. I would have to rewatch it with subtitles
yeah,
just to understand what the hell they're talking about half of the time. But at least like the whole like visually, the whole backwards time thing is fantastic.
it's fantastic.
It's basically a sci-fi James Bond movie, like a lot of
Yeah.
Christopher Nolan movies,
Well, it
which
feels like it is a very James Bond movie
yeah.
because there's a lot of and he does that sometimes, but I think in this movie is very like exotic locations or, you know,
And lots
very
of
worldwide.
locations,
Yeah, lots of locations that just
very basic characters that only have like
why
one defining trait.
they go they go to the Amalfi Coast for like for no apparent reason. Like they just go to the Amalfi Coast because it's the Amalfi Coast. You know, it's like in James Bond movies. Why do they always go to these amazing places? Just because it would be better than Newark, New Jersey. You know,
Can you imagine James Bond in New Jersey?
Yeah, I'd love it. He would his car. He'd like do. He'd step out of like wherever he was. His car would be gone, or like on like
The rims would be,
wheel.
yeah, yeah, on
The wheels
concrete.
are gone. Yeah, you know, he'd be like, bullocks. I don't know what, but
Oh, Bond, James Bond. I'm walking here.
there you go. It'd be great. I'd love it. But I think to finish on Tenet, it's really worthwhile watching. It's a fun movie. It's complicated. There's so many moments. There's so many questions that are still unanswered that I don't understand. It's like I want to watch it again, which is a sign that it's a not necessarily a good movie, but it's good enough for me to keep an interest in it.
Hmm.
You
And
know,
I
it's
feel like it has that good balance of like there's stuff that it lets you figure out on your own and you feel clever figuring it
yeah,
out, and there's stuff
yeah,
that at
he
the end
does
you're
that a
still kind of
lot.
wondering and kind of scratching at the surface. It has a very good level of that.
Like, have you watched any sort of like the day after, or like a few days after, I started watching a few like Tenet timeline explained
Oh yeah,
videos, and
Tenet ending explained.
yeah, yeah.
The
Well,
big
I
red
mean,
circle on the thumbnail.
yeah, on the thumbnail, yeah. I mean, there's not much that needs to be explained.
But there's probably a
Sometimes
lot of details that you don't notice that.
it's more the sense that what's really interesting. It reminds me of Memento, where you would need to draw out every event and draw lines to understand where they all fit in, and you realize that Robert Pattinson's character, if someone like sort of drew a line, but it was an S shape, and because some things circle back and stuff like that, and he shows you where Robert Pattinson is, and you realize he's like everywhere in the movie, but you don't know it. But then he explains where Pattinson is, and when he's going backwards and when he's going forwards, and like when he interacts with a character, and you don't know that it's him, or you don't know that he was there, and so it's really, you realize that there's so much to the story. So it's really an amazing. I think in this sense, the story, the script is to be able to actually translate that into a motion picture is just, I mean, it's crazy. Only Nolan could do it. I think Nolan's like one of the only directors who could do this kind of movie because he's
Yeah,
so obsessed with time.
I would love to see the script for this movie to understand how they scripted the backwards scenes. I would love to see how that was written out, how they could
Oh,
how they coded it. I'm wondering how, because when you see it on screen, it clicks and it makes sense and it works. But
yeah, no, it's
I want to
masterful
understand
to
how it
be able
was
to do
written.
that. I mean, it's worth watching just because of like it's so complicated that it's worth watching just for that. Someone wrote the story and they found a way to tell the story in a way that, like you said, you're kind of lost, but you still kind of can figure out what is going on. And by the end of the movie, you're like, okay, yeah, that was screwed up. Like people are going backwards, people are going forwards. I don't know what, who, and but I still got it. I still have a sense that I know what happened. So you don't leave the theater completely oblivious, but just enough to keep you asking questions, which is good. I liked it. I'm happy I saw it in theaters. Maybe got COVID. Huh, that's life.
That's our life now.
So
Just wondering every
speaking
time
of
if we
COVID,
cough.
speaking of COVID, the fucking virus has postponed so many movies. I mean,
Yeah,
I just bought Dune, the book. I started reading Dune. It's
it's good.
fantastic.
You might finish it by the
I
time
guess I'm gonna have
the
I
movie
might finish it by the
releases.
time the movie comes out. It is
The
just
Batman news made me so sad. I was so
Batman,
pumped to see
James
Batman.
Bond.
Ah,
Everything's been postponed. I mean, and here we are. Oh, poor us.
yeah,
We're
wah.
waiting
It's
for
so
those.
hard.
Oh,
I guess I'll have to watch Sonic for the fourth time. Oh no.
people are dying, and we're like, oh, we can't watch our movies.
I want to see Batman again for the 19th time. Wah. Yeah. But
Yeah, no,
still,
that's.
it is. I can't wait to see the Oscars with like all five movies that came out this year.
I'm telling you, man. I'm trying
New
to
yeah,
find.
New Mutants is
Tr-
gonna sweep,
oh,
clean sweep.
Trolls 2 is gonna fucking win everything. All right.
Have you seen New Mutants? Because I have.
You've seen New
I've
Mutants.
seen New Mutants
Where'd you see that?
at a movie theater. I went to a movie theater and I saw New Mutants
So he
voluntarily.
says
I was not held at gunpoint. I swear,
he says trying not to laugh.
I
So for
was not held
everybody,
at gunpoint.
this podcast, New Mutants is a movie that was filmed about 14 years ago. Maisie Williams had not even been cast in Game of
It was
Thrones.
before I was born, actually.
No, but seriously. So New Mutants was I think they finished shooting it like 5 years ago, or like, I'm
Yeah,
not kidding, like
the trailer
four.
released in 2017, the very
Yeah,
first one.
so they finished shooting maybe 4 years ago or three and a half. Maisie Williams is in this movie from Arya Stark from Game of Thrones,
How do you
and
pronounce
she's
how do you pronounce that?
I don't remember the
Arya
book.
Stork. It's Stork.
Stork?
Yeah, it's
It's not
Stork.
Stork. It's not Stork. It's Arya Stark.
It's Arya.
It's it's Arya. It's
I
Arya,
was
not
trying to give you an
Arya.
out. I was trying to turn it into a joke. I was trying to give you an out. You didn't take it. It's Arya.
It's Arya.
Or sorry, you
Okay.
have to pronounce it like she does. Arya.
Oh
My name's
no,
Arya
yeah.
Stark.
I mean, it makes sense. I mean, it's not Ariel, it's Ariel, the mermaid. Yeah. See, mermaids.
Ariel.
Ariel. Ariel Callis. Anyway, so stars Maisie Williams and other people that I don't remember. I just remember her because she in the movie she's like 15. I don't know. She's young, and it became it fell in a sort of like a loop, a crack in the system where Marvel was it like during the acquisition of Marvel and Sony and all that shit
Wait, no,
and
it was
Disney
when
and all
Marvel
that.
was talking about acquiring Fox, and
Oh
then
yeah.
it ended up happening. So
Oh
then
yeah.
they released like Dark Phoenix, which was like the last real Fox movie that in the X-Men
Yeah.
continuity. But then New Mutants sort of was kind of there, doing its own thing. Nobody knew what to do with it. Did they release it? Did they remake it? Did they adapt it? They just had no idea what to do with it. So I think they just eventually gave up and just released it. And they could have just not. They could have just not released it, and that probably would have had the same effect. To be honest,
No good. No good. No
it's
good.
not. It's not awful. But have you seen Dark Phoenix?
No, I don't. I just can't. I can't do it. I'm sorry, Nick.
Have you seen X Men
I've
Apocalypse?
unfortunately I did.
So that's New Mutants for you. It's bad writing with some enjoyable moments, but it's mostly forgettable.
Yeah, there's something
That's
so
the
weird.
movie.
There's something so strange about it's like the X-Men movies never evolved in the sense that I remember X-Men, the first
I,
one with the, like it
they
was
devolved. They devolved. You can say it. It's okay.
no, they didn't devolve. They just stayed the same, and everything else became better. And so they didn't really devolve. I mean, they just you know release X-Men X2 or whatever today, and you'd be like, ooh, that's kind of a bad, strange, weird movie. Like that's a strange adaptation of
Well, I mean,
X-Men or whatever.
the issue is that the main theme of X-Men has always been the same thing, right? It's like these outcasts that are rejected by society, and oh, but they're actually good people that will help you, and blah, blah. Like that's always been the theme, and the fact that they just keep reusing the same theme over and over again
Yeah.
is kind of like the best X-Men movies are the ones that either lean immensely to their theme successfully, like X2, or movies that have new themes, like Logan or First Class, which
Mm.
are great movies
Yeah, true.
and that have
Very
aged
true.
very well. First Class is to this day, it's amazing.
Yeah, I agree. So, to get back to all the movies that is postponed, there's Dune, there's the Batman, there's the James Bond, there's Fast. Well, I don't really care about
Wonder
Fast Furious
Woman's
and
been
Furious.
pushed back, but I think it's still releasing
I
this year.
think. Um, I just saw so many. I
Black
think.
Widow got moved back.
Yeah, that's never gonna be. That's just gonna be. This is gonna do. They're gonna do the Mulan thing. They're just gonna fucking put it on Disney Plus, I guess.
No,
You
I don't
think?
think
No.
I think they're going to try as much as possible to release it in theaters, and if in a year they still can't, then they'll release it. But I think they're going to give it the old college try. It's still like Marvel still rakes in too much cash. Their Disney remakes don't rake in as much cash as the Marvel movies do they?
That's true. No, that's true. That's true. Anyway, so everything's been postponed, which is, I mean, like I said, it's fine. I mean, we can't. It's that's life. There's so much TV. I mean, TV. There's so much like on Netflix and Amazon and name it,
Yeah,
Crave,
you've been
whatever.
watching The Boys. I've been watching the Teen Titans Blu-ray remaster.
God,
I'm
Nick.
talking like the OG Teen Titans show,
Wow.
which is amazing by the way. It holds up
I'm
so well.
sure it does. I'm just there's.
You
I
know
don't.
you know what the funny thing is about their Blu-ray remaster though? The
Go
original
ahead.
Teen Titans show was in a 4:3 ratio, right?
Yeah.
So now they've done it in a Blu-ray remaster, so it's a 16:9 ratio. The issue with that is because the screen is wider, the animation wasn't prepared for such a wide screen. And so sometimes when characters move from right to left frame or vice versa, and just as they're about to exit the screen, instead of just exiting the screen normally, they just disappear. They pop out of
Oh God.
existence because they weren't planned on being drawn for that long. So whenever you're looking at the edge frame characters leaving, sometimes they just often vanish, which is very funny. As soon as you notice it once, you will always notice it.
I find that strange. I mean, just leave it in its original format. You know, it was 4:3. Just leave it 4:3, and
To be
I
fair though,
don't really
it
care.
looks amazing in like on a big screen in Blu-ray. It looks really really good. It's exactly that thing where you know when you play a remastered game and you feel like, oh, that's what it looked like when I was a kid. What do you mean this is a remaster? And then you press the button
Yeah,
that shows you the
yeah,
old version. You're like, oh my god, that looks like trash. That's how I felt
yeah.
watching the Blu-ray Teen Titans. I was like, is this not what it always looked like? And I know that it's not, but that's how it felt.
That's how it felt. It feels in your heart, in your
Exactly,
soul.
exactly.
We all have that. I have that with movies. Have that with games. Have that with anything. You just don't rewatch it. It's gonna spoil your memories.
I've been on a weird, like old school cartoon binge for some reason because I think I have so little time to watch content now that it's easier to digest like 22-minute episodes of cartoons where I can just sit down and watch
Yeah,
one and it's just
yeah.
easy and gone and that's it. That's also why I sent you a picture of Cyber Six. You know what that
Yeah, what
is?
is that? No, don't know what that is.
Cyber
Enlighten me in the audience.
Cyber Six is super obscure and I'm glad you asked. Thanks for bringing it up. Cyber Six is this
You brought it up.
No, shut up. Cyber Six is this Canadian animated cartoon show from like the early 2000s. It's based off a manga and or manga, I don't know. Um
Nerd.
we so and it's amazing. It only had one season, 13 episodes, but they're fantastic. The art style, the animation, the weird almost Lovecraftian design. It's super weird and I absolutely recommend it. It's a banger soundtrack. It's super well written and it's super stylish. It's amazing. And I was trying to track it down because it's very hard to find. You can find some copies that cost like way too much and I finally managed to track it down. It was in stock at some sort of online anime store. I bought it, I got it. It's amazing, no regrets.
Cyber 6. Is that it?
Yeah. Just
All right.
when you have time, look up just the intro with the music on YouTube. You'll see what I'm talking about. It's
Will do.
gorgeous.
Will do. What else? What else do you want to talk about?
I
So
want
we
to
want to
talk
talk about
about
Tenet.
Spooderman,
Oh
about
yes,
our new
the new
Spooderman.
for those who do not know, the for the PS5 they're releasing, the Spider-Man game, which
It's
is
a
an
remaster.
amazing remaster. It's a remaster,
It's
yeah,
a remaster, yeah.
and yeah, so it's a remaster, and they changed the
The
face model,
actor,
just not the
the
face, the,
actor.
the actor. They
They
changed the actor to
recast the actor for
yeah, but
Spider-Man
didn't they
in the
keep the
same game,
voice?
and they also here's the thing: they recast him
Yeah, but they
so
kept the
that
voice.
yes, exactly, they recast him so that the new um, model would more closely resemble the model of the voice actor, of the physical appearance of the voice actor,
Well, why? How? I don't get
because of
that.
his facial capture.
Yeah. Well
Because
then,
they do facial capture on the voice actor, they wanted to
yeah.
change the model to more closely resemble him, so they based him off some other guy. It's so weird
Yeah, but I
and
mean,
dumb.
if you're basing your motion capture on the face of the actual actor, why do you need another actor? Because this other actor resembles
Well,
the
because they wanted to have a character
original.
design, right? They wanted to have they wanted to design their own character, right?
Okay, okay,
Which I get, except now because they want it to be more, they want the motion capture or the performance capture, sorry, to be
yeah.
as fidel as possible. They're getting somebody who closely resembles him so that the movements match and are more precise and look prettier.
But I've seen the picture. I've seen the picture, and because I didn't watch the trailer or anything. Was there a trailer or is just pictures?
They released a video
Oh yeah, no, they released a
that
scene. The
talks about like the
scene,
differences, and they released the
yeah,
scene. Yeah, it's like a trailer.
a
Yeah,
scene between Doctor Octopus
yeah.
and Peter Parker. I mean, I find that he looks younger, of course, which I like because
Younger. He looks like he's barely in high school.
yeah, maybe too young because I found the
He's
other
a
one,
major baby face.
yeah, well, the other one looked a bit too old, to be honest. Not, but it's just a bit too
I
much.
mean, the
He,
original looked like his age. I mean, he was 25 in the game.
He's 25.
He's 25 in the game.
I thought it was a bit young. I thought it was like early 20s. Anyway,
He's 25 or 24 in the game, which
okay.
that's what he looked like. I
It
mean,
looks like he's about that age. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I guess it works. No, it's fine. It's fine. It's okay. I don't know why they're doing this. Maybe I don't know. Whatever, man. Let them throw
there,
money out the
but here's
window.
the thing though. It's such an unusual thing because you could recast an actor in a movie sequel. That happens all the time.
Hmm.
It's very rarely the main character, but it still happens. Sometimes they change the appearance of a video game character in a sequel because the technology got better or because
Yeah,
they
yeah,
wanted
yeah,
to remodel a little bit.
yeah,
Kratos changed a little bit over the years with his
yeah.
appearance. Nathan Drake also a little bit. But to change the complete appearance of a character in the same game for the remaster, not 2 years later, is so weird. It's fundamentally so strange. Do you remember when Infamous 2 was releasing and they released a trailer for Infamous 2?
I don't. I remember I played the game, but I don't remember the trailers or anything
The
like that.
original trailer they released was a trailer with some gameplay, and they had changed the appearance of Cole McGrath from the first game. They
Hmm.
made him, he was basically a Nathan Drake wannabe. He had like black, short hair and like a more Nathan, he looked like Nathan Drake. Please
Okay.
find on YouTube the original trailer, the original gameplay for Infamous 2. The character design is terrible, and fans got upset because why the hell does our, you know, gruff Cole McGrath character look like Nathan Drake? And so they changed it back because fans were not happy. So that happens. Sometimes they try a new design, people go, no, and they change it back.
No,
But
no.
this is no.
Put him back. Put him back the way he was.
Yeah, but this is so weird because he looks so different. And like I like the original design. He looked like an actual regular guy. He looked like a
Yeah,
normal
he
early
looked
20s
very
Joe.
normal.
Yeah, and I like
He
that.
looked. He had flaws. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
he
he had
was.
like bags under his eyes. His hair
Yeah,
was kind of messy. This
yeah,
new one looks like he was like printed in a Marvel factory,
yeah.
3D delivered to your doorstep.
Tom Holland.
I feel like Jared Leto's character from Blade Runner birthed him himself. Like he
It's like,
looks
what are you talking
weird,
about?
and that's oddly specific. But he just,
Yeah,
yeah, he looks like a Tom Holland wannabe. He looks like discount Tom Holland.
yeah. Well, I don't know. I don't really. I mean, when I saw it, I was like, all right, so what? It's. I think,
It's
and that says a lot about how I view video games compared to movies. And there's a debate to like. That's a subject in itself. That's talking about video games, movies, how video games are not yet taken seriously enough as an art form.
yeah, that's
I
a
mean,
subject that has been exhausted.
exactly, but I mean, it's very simple. Just talk to anybody, tell them you play video games, and you'll get like maybe three different reactions. One will be maybe someone, kind of like disinterest. Who cares? People who go like, "Aren't you a bit old for video games?" And then people who play video games who understand, right?
Hmm.
And people who and there's still too many. There's still too many people who still view video games as um
Children's entertainment.
yeah, I guess. And even
It's
people
the
who
same crew. It's the same crowd who sees cartoons and animation as also always being for kids exclusively.
yeah,
I feel like it's the same demographic because it's
yeah,
animated, because it's flashing lights on a screen, that it has to be for kids and it has to
yeah,
be, for an immature audience. Same thing with comics, right? It's all the same demographic. They all view it
yeah, I
as
know.
this immature sort of outlet.
I mean, if you know, telling people that you have a graph, like I guess a graphic novels collection is better than saying. Even then, it's like better than saying I have a comic book collection, but it's the same fucking thing.
Yeah.
A lot of people would there would be a lot of judgy people. There would be like, you have comic books at home? Like, yeah. Have you read these fucking things? They're
Have you had
amazing.
fun?
Yeah. Do you
Have you
like?
heard of the word?
Are you void of any happiness? Are you okay? Like, do you have I know that coronavirus makes it that you have no more taste, but that doesn't mean that you don't have taste in your entertainment either.
I guess I'm not upset about the Spider-Man thing. It's just I'm very confused by it, and I think my confusion is
Yeah,
upsetting me because it's just so weird. It's a
it is
fundamentally
weird.
weird decision, and they keep trying to justify it, but I'm just like, just I don't care that
Okay, but
the
Nick,
performance capture. I don't know.
do you, do you plan on getting a PS5 anytime soon?
Obviously,
Okay. Do you plan on playing Spider-Man on the PS5?
no, because I'd have to buy it again.
Yeah. So
So I'm
this
not gonna.
doesn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
So fuck it.
doesn't. But I'm gonna buy Miles Morales, and then Spooderman's going to show up in that and be like, "I'm your mentor," when he looks like 4 years younger than him. Like, how's that going to play out, huh?
I don't know.
I don't think. I think they have to de-age Mary Jane now too because she can't legally date him
No,
when he looks like
yeah, no
that.
fucking kidding. Yeah, yeah,
They're gonna
yeah.
think
No
she's his
way.
mom.
No, she's gonna. But then I'm gonna feel bad playing this game because I'm gonna be like a pedophile.
What do you do in Spider-Man when you play the game?
I shoot my webs.
Oh boy. I just shoot that weird white sticky liquid all over the place, and that's it. What do you mean? Why are you judging me?
I just cover people in the white liquid. That's
Yeah,
all I do.
it's fine. Jesus.
Sticky. Get my sticky juice. That's what I say as I play the game. Take it.
God. Every time we're gonna make that joke now, I'm gonna think back to the Funhouse news. I'm
Oh no.
traumatized.
Yeah. Yeah. It is sad. Just goes to show how you never know anything. You never like. There's so much.
I
There's
haven't
such a
I haven't
darker
broken
side
the
to
news.
everything.
I haven't broken the news to my girlfriend yet. She doesn't follow this kind of stuff. She has no idea. I'm not looking forward to that conversation.
But she's a Funhouse fan.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah.
Hmm. Is she a?
Yeah.
Because like,
Yes. To answer your question, yes, she is, unfortunately. No, go ahead,
what was
ask your
my
question.
question?
I'm not in your mind. Ask your question.
Okay, is she an Adam Kovic fan?
Yes,
Is
that was the answer to the
she a
question.
always yeah? Because I've always liked. I think yeah, Adam is probably one of my favorites. Elise is amazing, but that's too bad, man. I don't know what they're gonna do. They're gonna have to. I mean, it in the last year they've lost so much because
Well, and
when
now
they lost,
you could kind of see, kind of looking back, you can understand
yeah,
some things like Lawrence and
exactly,
Raul
yeah,
denouncing him and like saying that there was other stuff. They had falling outs that we never even heard about, right?
yeah, and like Bruce, I don't know if Bruce had if him leaving had anything to do with it, but Bruce leaving, Lawrence leaving, Raul, all this in the last year plus now this.
Yeah.
Yeah, hard times for Funhouse. Like,
I
wow.
don't know. I don't know if they're going to rebrand or what's going to happen with the whole thing. But I mean, they still have good quality, funny content. I mean, the whole editing team. You've seen the video that I told you about, the what is it called? The Sundered gameplay, which is like their highest viewed video that I always tell you about, where it's Alana, Raul, John, and
Yeah,
Jacob.
yeah, yeah.
Like their best video, right? So they still have good quality comedy teams in there, and
But it's gotten bad. It's
the
gotten like
dynamic is
it's not as funny as more anymore. Like, but there's also the fact that
but
they're not in the
they're
same
they're
room.
on a distance. Their
Yeah,
strength has always been in-person comedy,
yeah,
in-person improv, and that's so much
yeah,
harder at a distance.
yeah. I mean, they
You
still
know it's
have a
hard
lot.
on them too.
Yeah, I mean, they still have a lot. I guess one of my favorites that I always love watching is Google Trends. I
Yeah,
love that. It's funny. That's an easy one to do. I mean, in the sense that it's not just based on gameplay. I like Film House. I still like Dude Soup when they do it. But yeah, their gameplay videos have really gone again. It's just not the funny factor is just kind of went down a bit. And Bruce was the one that made me laugh the most. That's why now I watch a lot of Bruce videos. Like I just watch gameplays with him, like his Among Us videos. Have you seen that? Have you seen any of those videos? The Among Us videos? Anybody?
I I've seen some of Alana's Among Us videos.
It looks like it's a fun game. It looks really fun to play with people you know. That's the thing. Like I would
Yeah,
never play that game because I need like 9 other friends and I only have like half of one, you
yeah.
know? So yeah. But yeah, the whole Funhouse thing really wow, that came out of nowhere for me because I had no clue.
I don't think
No
anybody had
clue.
any clue. I don't
No,
think
but I mean,
anybody.
since yesterday, this it broke like yesterday, and like about an hour before you texted me, I saw a tweet from Rooster Teeth saying that they had like go like 2 people because of the code of conduct,
Yeah,
but it didn't say who and what for and why. And then you tell me like to hear about Funhouse, and that just yeah,
yeah. I
I'm
heard
not
about it
devastated.
this
I'm not.
morning, and so I was just
Uh,
like reading updates throughout the day on Reddit about this, and
ugh.
it's just it was rough to
Which
read
one's
through.
Ryan from
Uh,
Achievement Hunter?
what do you want a physical description?
Yeah.
He's like a bit older, generally not clean shaven.
Okay.
bit of a round face.
Yeah. Okay. I know which one. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
that
there's
was.
like,
It's. I
yeah.
feel like I. What does it say? You know, like people who are always pick bad people in relationships. Like Ryan was always one of my favorites at Achievement Hunter as well. I always
Mm,
so enjoyed his brand of humor, and now it's like, oh, cool, he's one of those people.
yeah.
Cool, 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 cool,
Cool, cool,
cool,
cool, cool, cool.
cool,
I
cool,
like
cool,
those
cool,
kinds of
cool.
people. Great. Cool, cool, cool. I can
Yeah,
relate to those people. Oh, great. Cool,
right.
cool, cool,
It's that
cool.
weird thing that you get when you like are in bad
Yeah.
relationships or in bad friendships, right? Where it's like you feel like you're the problem. It's like, do I have bad idols? Is am I the issue? No, I know the
Yeah.
answer is
Because
no,
I
but it's
mean,
just it sucks.
yeah, Adam Kovic, man. I love his sense of humor. I think he's funny. The whole like dry, not having any fun, depressed, but it's all an act. But then you're like, is it all an act for
Oh, it's
real?
he always hinted that
Half
it
of
wasn't
it.
all an act, right? But he still
Yeah.
was able to leverage that to make good comedy, and
Yeah.
you know he seemed like a fun person. Except now, well, there's the
Not
weird
as
stuff,
much.
and then there's the stuff where he seems to also be like an ass, and that people don't like him for whatever reason, like Raul.
Yeah.
It's a mess. It's an absolute mess.
Yeah. Whew. Well, I thought we weren't going to talk about that, but I guess we decided
I
to.
guess we. It's hard not to talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You said you wanted to talk about the Resident Evil reboot. I
I
have a
did
question. I have a
quickly.
question
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah, go ahead.
What the fuck are you talking about, man?
Yesterday I saw news that they started casting for a reboot, and they are finally doing what they should have done in the first place. You know, I remember you were probably, oh God, I hate saying this. You're probably too young. I hate when I just have to say this. Do you remember when Resident Evil 1 came out
I do because I remember renting it at Blockbuster to watch it at home with my friends back when
okay,
having friends and inviting them over was a thing.
and going to Blockbuster, right?
I miss Blockbuster.
Yeah, yeah, I do too. Yeah, I do too. Uh,
Can
I
I,
miss going.
since we're talking
Yeah,
about Blockbuster, can I just do a parenthesis here?
yeah, go
When
ahead.
Blockbuster went out of business, me and my mom and I went to Blockbuster and we robbed the place blind. I think I
Yeah,
bought like 15 DVDs for nothing.
you
That's
had
where I
to.
bought First Class. That's where I
You
bought
had
King
to.
Kong. I bought so many of my classic DVDs there.
Oh, you had. I know, Nick. I get it. I mean, there's no better. Like one of the fondest memories I have is getting on my bike, and back in the day, there wasn't just Blockbuster. It was like all these different, video store chains where it wasn't even chains. It was like, mom and pop kind of play, or even like a fucking convenience
Or
store.
yeah, like a pharmacy. Yeah.
Yeah, pharmacy or whatever. Like everywhere had DVDs, right? So one of my fondest memories is getting on my bike and then riding my bike and going to rent games or movies because you could rent games, right? And then deciding like, do I take it for like, because there's like specials, like take it for 3 days or a week, and just like, what do I do? So and just getting a bunch of games and a bunch of movies and just like that was my weekend. End of parentheses. So I have this. I personally have a sort of like a Resident Evil has been a part of my gaming life and for like as long as I can remember. Like the first time I was ever scared in a game was Resident Evil. First time that I ever I think realized the potential of the horror genre in games, it was Resident Evil. So I love those games. I love playing the first, second, the third. And then they said they're making a movie. And I was so hyped for it before I knew before Hollywood even knew how to make they still actually don't know how to make movies about games, but
They've been like two good ones.
yeah, or yeah, but in the sense that they're still trying to figure it out, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so um the movie comes out and I watch this movie and I'm like, what the fuck is this? Why didn't like what are they doing? Why do you need to change the whole story? Why do you need to introduce a new character? Why do you need to, like it just they just took they took my Resident Evil and they fucking blew its head off in front of my face
So I'm
and
sorry,
then
were you not a fan of the laser grid? Is that what I'm hearing you say? Because I'm extremely disappointed in you if that's what I'm hearing you say, because the laser grid was by far the best character of the first Resident Evil movie.
um
And I'm
yeah,
offended that
I
you
mean
don't know
I
what I'm
played
talking
that
about.
I played that on repeat. What do you mean the laser grid? Of course, you mean like the whole
The whole
like
laser sequence where,
checkers. Yeah, I
yeah,
know. Like he
the
jumps to
best defense system, right? Where it comes at you
yeah,
sequentially one at a time, and
and
then
then
it gets impossible.
And it gets
Just to
harder
give
and
you a
harder and
chance, just to
harder.
give you
Yeah,
hope, and
yeah.
then to just crush all hope together, and then slice and dice you into a bunch of little
How
lozenges.
much of a fucking psychopath do you have to be to do like that sort of like, yeah, first let's do like a really slow one on the ground, then one in the middle, one at the top, then maybe two lasers, and then like we'll do like a grid.
I love
He's
that
gonna
you're
be so
questioning the
fucked.
mental well-being of the people who designed it when they also like right next door had a zombie virus just like waiting, chilling out there.
Good point. Anyway, so the movie was horrible. It just because it tried to tie into what Resident Evil was. It just took the essence of the whole, I guess, the game and tried to do something different. Which is, I mean, I get what they were trying to do, but I wanted to see the game in a movie. I wanted to see the whole same story. I want to see the mansion, and that's what they're doing. They're rebooting Resident Evil, and they are making a movie in the mansion, just like in Resident Evil One. Same characters are going to be as in the game. They're going to be in the movie, and it's going to be basically Resident Evil One. But of course, they're probably not going to make it. It's not shot by shot, but it's going to be the same story than the first one. And I'm like, well, actually will probably see this movie. Like not maybe in theaters, but I'll definitely want to watch it eventually. I want to watch this because I was waiting for this movie like 15 years ago or about maybe more. I don't know.
When they made the
But
original, it feels like they took one of the aspects of the game, which was like the whole Umbrella Corporation hidden
yeah,
organization,
yeah,
and that's what they leaned into when they should have leaned into scary zombies, atmospheric horror. And after that, after they did that for the first one, they were sort of stuck with it. So they did
yeah.
13 other movies about the Umbrella Corporation and
Yeah.
hidden
It was
zombie
like a
virus.
cash cow. It was a cash cow. It's just
Yeah.
making money.
To be fair, though, the casting of Mila Jovovich was perfect. She's perfect for that
Yeah.
kind of role. She
No, no,
was
no.
she
She's
was
great.
by far the most enjoyable part of all of those movies.
Yeah, I think she was amazing. I mean, it's not. I don't want to diminish necessarily like the people who were in the movie, or maybe even the. Well, no, who's the director? Isn't well, it doesn't matter. Anyway, no, but I thought,
You think they had a director?
yeah, good point,
What?
good point, good point. No, no, no. I'm sure that the first director, like the first movie, had a director that was
How
either
much you
up
want to
and
bet he was
coming
French? How
or
much you want to bet he was French?
it's. I'm convinced. You know what? I was gonna say that he was probably like Jean
Doesn't
de
it feel like it
Bont.
was
It
filmed by a French movie?
was like Jean de Bont, or I don't know what the guy. Like I'm looking it up on my phone. So please talk.
Oh, I'm also looking up on my phone. We can't both look it up on our
Shit.
phones.
2002. So that was 2002, and it was directed by oh shit, Paul W.S. Anderson. Oh, now I know why it sucked. Oh,
Wait,
Paul W.S.
Paul.
Anderson. No,
Paul.
not Paul Thomas Anderson. Paul
Okay,
W.S. Anderson.
he
Oh,
directed the first Resident Evil.
Paul W.S. Anderson. He sucks. He makes like he makes efficient movies. That's what he does. Like I think that Paul W.S. Anderson has been making movies for so long because I feel like he's the kind of director who makes a movie on budget. You know what I mean? Like producers are like, get Paul to do it because he's gonna like we have like $16 million. It's gonna cost 15. You know, I feel like he's that kind of director because why else would he be have like 18 movies? And we're not talking about like small movies. We're talking about like big Hollywood. Well, not big. We're talking about like B movie type Hollywood blockbusters, like Pompeii, the Resident Evil, like the Three Musketeers. Oh God, do you remember that?
I try not to.
The Three Musketeers with oh God. Well, Mila Jovovich. She's so
Is she his muse?
I think she's his wife.
Huh. I guess that would explain a
A
lot.
lot. Yeah, it does.
Do you
I'm
think
pretty
he's the
sure.
one who's directing that new Monster Hunter movie? Because she's in that.
Let's check. Let's check. Let me check. Let me check. Let me check. I'm
That
on
movie doesn't have
IMDb
a
as we
director.
speak. Yeah, no kidding. No, it's he is not directing the Monster Hunter. Let's look at who's directing the Monster Hunter. Let's see if it's a French dude. I don't know why it would be a French.
You agree
Um,
that it has that first Resident Evil feels it has the vibe of something directed by a French person, and I don't even know what that means when I say it, but it's how I feel.
yeah, I know what you mean. I know exactly what you mean. I can't find. Why can't I find Monster Hunter anywhere on the
Probably for
internet?
the best. Probably for the best.
Anyway, so they're making a reboot. They're rebooting the Resident Evil, and I'm actually not excited for it. I'm not like, oh my god, but I was happy when I read that they were gonna do it in the proper way, or the way that I want it to be done. Oh, so who's directing them? Oh shit, it is Paul W.S. Anderson who's doing Monster Hunter.
You're not serious.
I'm 100% serious. Holy shit.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Paul W.S. Anderson. Oh
All right.
god, for
Well,
so well. I mean, good for him.
if he's having a good time, we're having a good time.
Yeah, he's making boatloads of money making movies that I will probably never see. But so yeah, his wife is Mila Jovovich, so that explains a
That
lot.
does explain a lot.
Yeah. So what else? I think we're pretty much close to
I think we're
wrapping this up.
wrapping
But
up. Yeah.
oh yeah, because this was a podcast that was just filled with nothingness.
Oh, but this one is so much better than our last one, which I
Oh,
still have to edit together because I have not had time to edit it together.
is that the one we retired and it's
And
just
talking about Mulan, yeah, that's the one.
oh god, the Mulan one. Well, that might not be necessary to. So I need to watch Mission Impossible 5 because I've
Yeah.
watched all except for the fifth one. Because I want to talk about every one of those movies, and I want to talk about how I don't know what the fuck happened for Mission Impossible 3. Right, that's the one that is directed by J.J. Abrams, right?
Yeah, that's the one.
Does it have a title? Is it just
It's
M
just
Mission
three.
Impossible 3?
Yeah.
Just 3.
The first one with the title was the fourth one, Ghost Protocol.
Yeah, because the rest were just like Mission Impossible 1, 2. There wasn't like a title for the second one, right?
Nope.
I don't. Okay. All right.
It started with the
Okay.
fourth one. So let's do that
Okay,
next
so
time because I
yeah,
really want to talk about Mission Impossible.
yeah, me too. Yeah, well, I'm gonna watch it before by the time we do our
Yeah, you
our
have to
next
watch
episode.
Rogue Nation and you have to watch Fallout.
No, I've seen Fallout.
Well, you have to rewatch it.
All right, fine, I will.
That's it. That's the episode.
Oh God.
Content over.
Okay.